Thank you for staying with us. President Muhammadu Buhari last week approved the sack of the managing director of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, Usman Guru Mohammed, and appointed Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz as acting managing director. A statement by the Minister of Power, Mr. Salim Aman, signed by his special advisor, Media and Communications, Aaron Artsmas, however, did not give specific reasons for Mohammed's removal, but said it was part of the reorganization of the company. This action has pit electricity unions against one another, while Nigerian Union of Electricity Employees are against it. Senior Staff Association of Electricity and allied companies have hailed the sack. They allege that Mohammed illegally removed the president of SAEC, Chris Okonkwo, from the service of the TCN when he still had many years of service and hadn't clocked 60 years of age or 35 years in service. Let's put this into perspective. Our comrade Joe Ajero is the General Secretary of the Nigerian Union of Electricity Employees. He joins me now via Skype from Isolo here in Lagos. Thank you very much, comrade Ajero, for your time.
Thank you very much.
First, I'd like you to react to the sack of the MD of TCN. How did it come to you? What's the stand of your union?
Well, the sack of the MD of TCN came to us with root shock, in the sense that of all the MDs that have served in TCN, there's none that has performed the feat of UG Mohammed. That doesn't mean that as a trade union organization, we've not had issues with him, or even more issues. But we had an MD that took workers' welfare as being paramount. We had an MD that made sure that the revenue of TCN moved on to 150%. We had an MD that made sure that foreign predators, who wanted to impose certain dangerous contracts, especially the Siemens contract, was not allowed in. We have an MD that is focused, that was covering even the lapses of the Ministry of Power. To that extent, when you announce a sack without reason, when you announce a sack not based on non-performance or fraud, then there's a lot to it. On the basis of that, the union wrote and condemned it, although we were able to contain the protest, which would have resulted into issues and disputes. But we're still watching, the turn of events in the power sector. And between that time and now, the pictures on why he was sacked have started playing out. In the last 4 days or thereabout, about 3 billion naira is about being moved out. Any moment from now, on a alleged plan to buy a house to transfer the TCN staff where they're going to. So these are some of the issues that Nigerians should look out for in the coming days, why UG Mohammed was sacked.
This is really worrisome. While the other side, that's the senior staffs, are saying that this is a welcome development, it seems there is an interest somewhere everyone is trying to protect.
Well, the issue is, you mentioned it in your intro, that the president was sacked.
Yes.
And because of that, they are taking positions. They are trying to go into an agreement to trade off the interests of the workers, the interests of Nigerians, with the recall of their president. And I think they should pursue the issue of recall of their president without modeling up issues as it affects the current political situation in the power sector. I don't want to go deep into the issue that led to the sack of their president. I will not do that. Okay. But I think they can pursue that rather than fighting UG Mohammed and dishing lies to Nigerians, on what is happening in the power sector. I think they should concentrate on that. Not because their president was sacked, that they will now tell Nigerians, that UG Mohammed did or that, this or that. I think they should be frank enough. But let me give you this caveat. Okay. The National Union of Electricity Employees controls about 90% of the workers in the electricity sector. 90%. The Senior Staff Association you are mentioning should be controlling about 10%. 5% of that are the ones you are hearing within them that are saying they don't recognized that same Okonkwo. So all the noise you are hearing is on the pages of newspaper. They don't exist. And I dared them, I asked the Okonkwo that is signing to visit any power plant, to visit any distribution office. They don't exist in actual fact. So they should not deceive Nigerians. To equally send you one circular he has sent for the interest of the workers, for workers' entitlement. The action of last year, an agreement was reached with the union, not senior staff accession. And the letter he wrote to the presidency now is asking the president to cancel that agreement, which was for the interest of Nigerian workers and workers in the electricity sector. That is not unionism.
Now, very worrisome. We know that we have a lot of issues in this sector, talking about getting adequate supply, which we are yet to address. There's another aspect of privatization that even the Senate has come up to say maybe there should be a review. And at this time, we're not having this at the TCN. What is your take in all of this? All Nigerians want, as we always talk about, is steady supply. So where does this come in? And what process should have been followed even if the TCN bus was to be removed? I'm aware of a circular from the SGF that says that will not happen again. There has to be a process.
Well, I think the TCN MD, it was on secondment from African Development Bank. And after his first year in office, the president confirmed his appointment and he was given 4 years term. Now, there are processes like the circular from the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. The circular was not signed that day. It was not introduced that day. That is how it should be. And now, since that circular was not followed, I think the presidency knows what to do, especially given the knowledge of insight on the character of the minister who had, prior to this time, sacked the MD of MBED. And that one was brought back by the presidency, who fully went further to sack the DG of Rural Electrification Agency, and the presidency brought that one back. The minister has never done any other job apart from sacking people who are not dancing to his tune. That is my fear. On the issue of privatization, I think every Nigerian knows my position clearly. But even without privatization, the minister, since he came in, went and signed a dangerous agreement with Siemens. He went to Germany with the former chief of staff, and the man he brought now as the MD. And they went there to go for a bilateral contract and agreement. And when they went there was no bilateral agreement. He went starting for commercial bank agreement in Germany. And when he couldn't get it, he went to Egypt to look for a loan from Islamic Bank for Nigeria. And when he came back and that they couldn't sell it through, they now saw the Gore as the person who frustrated them. How can you go for a bilateral mission and you go there and sign and look for agreement with commercial banks? It's not done. And the agreement, let me tell you this, is to strengthen Nigeria's transmission company to 7,000 megawatts. As of today, we're on 8,100 megawatts. That's fraudulent. If we want 8,100, why are you signing an agreement for 7,000 megawatts? There are contracts given to Siemens before now in Ajah and other places for 2 years. They have not executed the contract and they have been paid 100%. Why are you bringing such a company to come and defraud Nigerians again? These are the issues in the sector. And I think as a union, we have a patriotic duty to tell Nigerians what is happening in the sector.
This is indeed really very worrisome. In 60 seconds, Comrade Joe Ajaero, what's the way forward?
The way forward is to get the people who know their job to be on that position. I challenge the Minister of Power today to appear before any TV station in Nigeria, and then you ask him 1 or 2 questions. If he answers well, you know that Nigeria is on the march again. If not, then we don't have a minister. Then if he can answer any question from any media person or appear in any TV station in this country, for Nigerians to know him, then we can start from there. If not, we are wasting our time.
Comrade Joe Ajaero is the General Secretary, National Union of Electricity Employees. Thank you very much for your time joining us on Business Nigeria this afternoon.